It's my face. Hopefully that music isn't too loud. And it's done. We are live. Actually, if people turn up. Alright, let's talk. I'm eating chocolate at the same time. What a tune. Throw that there. Very loud on my side. Maybe it's a bit of that. Wow. I've no clue what to expect. I don't know how much of building I need to do. I've looked at the instructions. Seems pretty simple. Don't know what tools I need. I've got nothing ready. I've got absolutely nothing ready. But it'll be fun. So I don't think this comes with any tools. I haven't dug much in the box yet, so let's find out. Let's have a look-see. Should I bring this table a bit closer? All right. It's not a bad setup, this, actually. It's quite impressive. Looks like I know what I'm doing. I have no clue. Alright. Hey man, how you doing? Why is this printed on a sticker? It's just a massive thing that just tells you about your power unit, but it's printed on a sticker. I shouldn't have cut my nails yesterday. Well, yeah, it's afternoon, it's 1 o'clock. Yeah, it's a massive sticker. I need to stick this somewhere. Stuck. Yeah, it's afternoon here already. Morning's been good. Just playing video games as usual. And the dog will chew it there. So the assembly seems fairly straightforward, because the entire bottom side of it is actually already built. I've just got to build the top of it. Yeah, it's an actual sticker. Like, to me, it seems like it was meant to be stuck on there, on the top cover thing, to remind you. But I think it's just way too much effort to actually do that for every single one. But yeah, it's an actual sticker. So yeah, felt a bit too luxurious of a paper to be just paper. Have you built one of these yet? So I've got their resin printer over there. Beautiful machine. I've got a few FDM machines. So I have no clue what to expect with this one. Let's get all the bits out the box, I reckon. Small amount of PLA. Yeah, it does make sense to put it there. Yeah. I haven't built a machine with aluminium extrusion though yet, that's something new. Oh, injection molded parts, so this. It's crazy awesome. I mean, that literally they came out of nowhere, which I think is amazing, and they've got the support. Like, I don't know what the affiliation exactly is with FlashForge, but like on the box it says it's FlashForge manufactured, and they seem to be pushing that a lot more than when they first contacted me. I think that FlashForge little helps them get their trust in the community. So you got the whole collection going, eh? All the different types of printers. Oh, this is very nice, actually. Like, printed parts in a printer are cool, but injection molded, you can't beat that kind of quality in plastics. Alright, that's attached to something. I'm just trying to do this very carefully. Warning, spanner resupply. See, I haven't looked in here. I don't know what tools we get, so I'm going to have to dig out my spanners at some point. I think this is the hot end. Maybe. I think my mate told me about this. Be careful that these fall off when taking it out of the box. That's just for the bed. Yeah, the thing about injection molding is that it's stronger. FDM parts, they're going to be inherently weakened because of the layers. Even SLS parts, which I deal with a lot with at work. I work in a company that does SLS printing with probably about, I think we're on 13 SLS machines now that we produce plastic parts. Don't miss, it was just this wheel. I hope. You don't want to see me build a PC. That was scary. Plugs. Not gonna need that one because I need the British one. All right. Like, just looking at these parts, they all look like high quality parts. And then you get a Prusa, which most of the components are 3D printed, but it's going for like 700. Whereas this is 200, and it's all injection molded, it's all metal manufactured and that. So it's quite interesting to see. Oh, when I did my PC build, I dropped screws everywhere and I ended up shaking the whole thing over my head to get the screws out. Apparently you're not supposed to do that. It works, it's clearly running. Is that an extra nozzle or the nozzle? Because I don't see a hot end here, which is quite interesting. That could cause some problems. Unless I've got to assemble the hot end. I just want to expand this thing so I can read it from a distance. I'm blind. I mean, to be fair, I've got two Prusa's, the MK2S and the MK3S, and I don't really print much with my printers at home, but when I need to print something, those machines just turn on and they print. That's amazing. I don't need to level the bed, I don't need to do anything. The technology in it is very good, but the printed parts thing, it's kind of, I mean, I can see where they're going with where you can customize your parts and all that stuff, but for someone who's never been in this thing, holding a piece of plastic that feels engineered and feels manufactured very nicely, it just feels a lot more money, quality, better quality for the money that they're spending. Oh. I found the hot end. Very interesting. It's all enclosed in there. Now I wonder, I like that damn, it's got one of those, like, what do they call those sleeves for it already. I think it's E3D who kind of piloted that whole idea of having a sleeve over your nozzle, so that if it does build up, you can just pull the sleeve off and you're actually protecting your nozzle. That's really cool. I had no clue that came with it. They are really top notch. They're really good. They're like, I find a lot of the cheaper printers don't have the amount of tech that the Prusa's have. So that's what you're paying for. You're paying for high tech, high quality tech, as opposed to high quality printers. I mean, that's the dream, really, is to have a printer that just prints. I need to sort my life out. This is chaos. Silicone socks, yes, they're great. Super. I don't know that what it's for. Because almost every printer doesn't have it. To me, like, a lot of the marketing I've seen for it is just keeps your nozzle clean. But I mean, if it keeps your nozzle cool at the same time, it's pretty dope. This one's not labeled. I mean, all the little bags and everything's labeled, which is pretty cool. And I thought, yeah, like, I always thought that the blow up was for the cooling of the parts, not the temperature. But I mean, if you're blowing air right there, it's gonna affect it's gonna end up going onto the actual hot end and cooling it and then heating a bit more. No, I don't think that's what I need. I will need them. Alright, let's find these screws. How's everybody's weekends going though? I trimmed my bush outside. Not like, yeah, but my ivy bush. We ended up taking it down, so now we got more space in the garden, which is quite nice. Yeah, like the horror stories I've seen from just hot ends getting engulfed in a mountain of plastic after failure. Like, if I need to print overnight, I will, but I always try and avoid printing overnight. I don't like to fill my entire build of tons of parts and do like a massive 27-hour print. I'd rather do, 5 shorter prints. Thanks for clarifying. Yeah, I need to clarify these things sometimes. Because, you know, things can get misconstrued. You know, people can be like, hang on. What about his bush? That's a lot of plastic. The only thing this is missing is some nice, you know, chewy candies. I always find when printing multiple things at the same time on an FDM is that you're increasing the risk of failure, and if you're doing especially tall things and it's going to knock into it, you're just causing failure for everything else. And it just, you know, I'd rather I feel like it's safer to lose 4 or 5 hours than to lose a whole 27-hour print. It's not the most efficient way of printing, but for me it's just the most safest. Found the screw thread. That's an interesting place to keep it hidden. There's a hole on the other end. Okay, let me take it out completely. Yeah, like I've done a lot of big, massive props and that stuff, and they take very, very long to print. And I've done, can't remember the total hours, but one of them was, I think we used 12 printers for 2 weeks doing 24/7 printing. Thank you. It's absolute gold. Like it's, what, 20 minutes in and I've dropped 3 things already. After a good start, see? Hopefully I don't drop the printer. One thing I'm nervous about is the gold build plate. I don't like gold. Is the glass build plate. I'm scared of glass. With printing, with removing things off the build plate. This umbilical cord is quite, it's cool, it's all attached already, but it's a bit in the way for assembly. So motors there, picture, this is just like Lego. I mean, I don't know why I'm struggling. Yeah, that'll be interesting conversation. So I dropped my printer. What were you doing? Just don't look at my footage. I lost my bits. There's my bits. Apparently there were tools somewhere. I'm not usually this chaotic when it comes to building things. This is in Valheim. Valheim after. By the way, I've got the mead fermenting in Valheim. We're gonna have a good party. Set up a little table as well. Go chill out. I've lost bits. I found them. The new mic is sounding so good. You know what I found? What it was, Brandon, is this new USB sound card. I was busy experimenting with it earlier, playing a bit of music and putting my headphones as far away from the mic, and I was still picking up the music. But as soon as I switched the audio to my speakers, which are right next to my mic, it stopped picking up. So I think that is feedbacking into the microphone, if you know what I mean. Like there's audio leaking into the microphone. Like I'm usually quite careful and I know things are, but I found it, by the way. It was under that somewhere. Do I have an Allen key that big? Should I use my drill to put this together? That'll be a bad idea, but efficient. It'll be a good idea. Bad idea, but efficient. So does that make it a good idea? I mean, I guess if I can put this together with their tools, then anybody can. I mean, that's the whole idea of companies like IKEA. They're designed so that most of the tools you have already, or they supply the tools, such as Allen keys and that. But most houses will have some sort of screwdriver or spanner, or, some sort of basic tool already in their house, and then all you do is you just buy everything flat pack. So I could get fancy and get a drill to screw all these things in, but that's just, I think, let's stick it to the basic tools. See if we can do it. If we can't, my dog's loving the packaging. Attached, first piece on, and it's only half an hour in. It's quite a heavy machine, surprisingly. go. I mean, the screws will get on very quickly if I just use a little air compressor and that. Very interesting. Is that one been machined wrong? Can't get my Allen key into that one. Literally won't fit. It's a faulty screw. Luckily it's a spare. I hope it's a spare. Looks like I'm gonna have to figure some things out. I mean, I could use a smaller Allen key because it's got the Allen key shape in it. It's just the assigned one doesn't fit. Don't know how tight these should be, but I'll make them as tight as I feel comfortable. I don't want to strip the screws. Yeah, right into the backside. Step 1 complete. Oh. Oh, it doesn't use a little belt. What is that? Those? Oh. My bad. I thought it was the Y motor that I was installing next. What? A typical test print. I'm going to print a Benchy straight off. Yeah, Benchy's just turned into that like cult classic 3D print for new printers. Yeah, I've become so accustomed to it, and so have so many other people, that if you have any problems and you can post that online, someone will know the answer and will be able to kind of identify the problem. It's the one model that can identify as many problems as possible with the printer. What's it, boy? So not like from there. Watch your back. The thing is, what I'm going to do is go around to all the screws and tighten them up again one last time. I see what you mean, but these are feel quite sturdy. I mean, I've built acrylic printers before, like the ANET, and those are just very, like, they just wobble so much. So this is going to be quite nice to build quite a sturdy printer. Next bit, I need a motor. Hold on, oh god. That's supposed to be there. Well done, Danny. The only channel who builds their printer twice. I was building my CR10 Pro. I mean, a friend of mine went from the CR10s to an Aquila now, and he says best printer he's ever had. It just prints so well. At least you'll know what to do, what not to do. Crap monkey. That's the thing, is that a lot of people expect a lot of these style of printers to just work perfectly out of the box like some of the really expensive machines do. But that you really need to work on them to be able to do that kind of thing. You need to be able to, you know, be willing to customize and make changes, go really, really deep into the, you know, into the mechanical aspect, into the coding. And not be afraid of it, to be able to get that perfect print. I think that's why 3D printing will never really enter homes as just another appliance, because you buy a microwave from, you know, an appliance store, it works. You buy a TV, it works. You don't have to, you know, for example, the microwave, you don't need to adjust the microwaves to get it to work perfectly. You don't need to adjust anything, it just works. And 3D printing needs to get to that stage where you just plug it in and it works and it never clogs. Okay, let's see if I can get it right a second time. I mean, a little round sticker saying right and left with a corresponding sticker over here would kind of help that from happening, prevent that from happening. Hey Nick, welcome. If you want to learn something, you're not gonna from here. I'm still on step 1 and I'm 40 minutes in. Not because it's hard, just because I'm dumb, basically. Yeah, like imagine that. It's like, oh, here's your fridge, but you got to calibrate it as well and fill the gas yourself. Set the temperatures correctly and learn a bit of coding at the same time. Not a chance. I mean, resin printers are getting to the point where you can just buy one and it works. This one is the same. You just have a lot of mess afterwards to deal with, which again, inside of a house, it's not a nice place. I haven't dropped anything in a while, which is good. Probably not the wisest way to do this, but yeah. I need to bring this table a little bit closer so that I'm not like always back to the camera. Oh, he's gone and done it. Has he though? Has he? Yes. 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 It's going in. It's going in. It's in. Yes. Nailed it. I use the replicator too, and it works like a dream. You know what? Replicator 2 was probably the best MakerBot that MakerBot had ever made, and last good MakerBot that they ever made. Like, MakerBot was the company to be, and a lot of companies kind of copying their style. But then they really messed it up after they were bought out by Stratasys, and they started being a bit too fancy for their boots. I know the replicators were awesome. Well, this was my first resin printer that I've ever... I've worked with resin printers before, but this was my first resin printer I've owned and been able to really clown about with. I printed with a Form 2 before, messed around with that a bit, but it's the first one that I've owned and actually been able to have at home and play with. And the fact that it just worked out of the box was a dream. See, holding it from the bottom. I'm doing a good job now. Let's get this table closer. Better. That should be better. chocolate for my reward. Now we're done with step 1. Are you printing out the masters for the molds, or are you actually printing out the molds and then casting silicone in it? I had a friend who had a MakerBot that he tuned perfectly, and it outshone Ultimaker's all the big expensive machines. Okay. Ah, there we go. The masters. So a friend of mine did something interesting with silicone molding. I don't know, what are you using for your... Because you'll have your master, and then you'll obviously build a wall around it and cast the silicone in. What he would actually do is, because also he was designing the parts, is he would design a little wall that went exactly about 2 or 3 mils around the edge of the profile. So, for example, if you're printing, if you're casting something that's round like that, you're not wasting space on the edges when you're building a wall out and like that. You'll just make a perfect ring. It also means on the inside of that mold, he could emboss text in the reverse of what mold it is, when it was, how much what your ratio should be, how much you need to pour in, so that when you do put that mold on the shelf and not use it for a while and come back to it, all the information about the mold of what you need to, what resins you're using, what your ratios for silicone are, how much you need, all the information's on the side. And I thought that was a really, really clever idea of using 3D printing to make your mold walls. Yes, the sleeve. I lost the sleeve. The sleeve was in here, like that, and that was stored in there. That's what I kept dropping. But it's an actual proper. It's not like a screw thread that you buy at a hardware store. It's a proper machine screw thread. So I mean, yeah, if you're making the part yourself, you can even do a volume analysis of the parts and find out exactly to the gram how much silicone you need to actually pour in there. So you can create your wall and you work out the volume inside of how much silicone you need. It's actually really cool. His name is Luke Daly. His channel is Make Daily, DALEY, and he's got a video about it on there. Really cool. He hasn't made much videos lately. I wish he would, but he does a lot of silicone molding. A lot. Oh, it's just the Allen key. It is fine. A lot of these machine screws are stored that way, especially if you have multiple ones, so they don't actually knock into each other and actually damage the screw threads. Okay, I need that one. Lightly lock it into place. A bit tight. Didn't expect it to be that tight. Gonna have to use a bit of force now. Ugh. Never been the biggest fan of these type of screw thread mounts. Because it's just a bit too much. Although this doesn't have too much flex in it. Here's a tip, actually. I had problems with one of my previous printers where the screw thread was slightly bent, and I was using cheaper screw threads. And while trying to solve the problem with Z-wobble, your screw here, the motor shaft sits at about here, and that obviously sits right on top. Don't ever put it directly on top, because it might seat it incorrectly, because the edge of this might be slightly skew. So if you've got a flat plane like that, another one that comes down skew, it could bend it like that, and actually this won't sit perfectly straight. It can also transfer any vibrations from the desk, the motors, or anything through there. So you want to avoid that. That's why there's a little gap there for the spring. So make it hit. See, knock there. And then lift it just a little bit higher so that it's more suspended. Tighten in that grub screw. And now any vibrations, anything could actually not pass through. If I'm not mistaken, that's one of the reasons why I was having Z-wobble problems, was there was a lot of vibrations pushing through and it wasn't seating nicely. Yeah, there's a gap there now. Okay, if I'm rambling, just let me know. If I'm just spitting nonsense that I've seen online that doesn't exist, just let me know. I mean, it made sense to me, and it solved one of my problems. Didn't make the printer any better. It was still a crap printer. Okay, install the pneumatic joint. Pneumatic? Is this pneumatic? It's got hydraulic, that's with waters. Pneumatic, isn't that with air? Isn't that pistons or anything? It's all motor driven. It's pneumatic motor driven? PTFE tubing. It kind of makes sense. Yeah. I'll just say it's pneumatic joint. The XE axis. I saw that was like Elon Musk's kid name. Okay. So I've got to attach this to that. Need the X-axis profile. So these are labeled, which helps out a lot. Because they look exactly the same. There we go. Nick has an incorrect terminology. I mean, these instructions are very, very broken English. It seems like it's translated almost directly from Chinese. I mean, you can extract the information that you need, but some of the translation's kind of weird. So some of the English is a bit weird. mean, they should get someone in English just to be able to. I'm sure people in the community. I'm sure if they can find someone in the community to be able to just go through some of their documentation and translate it. I don't want to use the knife too close in case I scratch this. No labels of my stuff. I know Prusa labels their stuff very nicely. These guys have labeled everything, which is quite cool. It's mostly labeled the stuff that you can mix up. For example, this shaft here had a plastic thing attached to it, and this one didn't. So they didn't label that because they were physically different. Whereas these two extrusions are basically the same. Nailed it. Yeah, I mean, if it's all there. The thing is, like, you can have you can hire a translator to translate it, but if they don't know the terminology and of what the technology is, you can still lose a bit of translation. You know what I mean? Like, for example, someone who knows nothing about 3D printing might think, yeah, that is pneumatic, and keep that terminology in when that isn't the correct terminology. All I wanted was the instruction manual. You know what? If nothing breaks when this is finished, they've done a good job. I've done a bad job, but they've done a good job. Okay. All that bolts straight onto there. So there's, on this profile, on the one side you've got these little holes that are cut out. There. Only on the one face. So you can use that as your guide because that fits that in. So that little bolt there fits into that hole. And everything else should line up. Yep. Now I just need to get the rest of the bits. So I've got that. I need a belt. I mean, yeah, a lot of these things that they use on here come from other things. Because it's cheaper, I mean. So, you know what I mean? Like, these bearings could be part of something else. And because they were designed for that purpose, they could be named a specific way. Hexagon socket, flat round head screw. Okay. $14 by 5, 6 by 2, 8 by 2. Pneumatic joint. Oh, okay. I see where they're getting the pneumatic from. I see where they're getting it from. The tube that the filament flows through, and then the connector that goes to it. These are for pneumatic systems. So this would have been for piping and that. So that connects into there with a watertight seal. So that's where pneumatics come from. Five by 14. That's what I need to find. Yes, found it. See, like all these little baggies of the screws unlabeled as well, so that makes it so much easier to find the exact ones that you need. Neat little labels. I don't think it'll focus. Let's try. So I studied product design, and back in university and that. So that's where I learned how to use 3D CAD and that. And for me, it enabled me to create anything that I wanted. And one thing I started to find is that I've got the software, and there's a technology that exists that allows you to create what you want and actually manufacture it. So I play a lot of video games, and I thought, there's quite a few props in those video games that would be cool if I could hold them and have them on my hands and that. And I started making that, and thought, if I think this is cool, other people are going to think it's cool. So I put those files all online for people to download for free, and just managed to just catch on from there, and saw so many people like really, really enjoy the things that I was making. And I kept putting it out there for free. There are people that have taken advantage of that, but like 90% of the people just absolutely love it. And from there I made connections in gaming and that, and actually made props for video game companies, for promotional things and all that stuff. I don't do it as much anymore because my full-time job doesn't allow for it. But it is something that I really, really enjoy doing, and every chance I get, I jump onto it. Last thing I made was a lightsaber that I coded, and that I kind of coded a bit myself, and I built it myself. So I got all the components I needed, and I made the casing myself. Yes, industrial design, product design, industrial design. Kind of in South Africa, it's a similar thing. It isn't a very big industry over there. So I got into. Yeah, I was going to do industrial design, product design things, but that never really came through. But I've got the tools and everything to be able to design things and make things, and through that I've met people at SolidWorks, which is the software I use, and I now lead some of their communities in Europe and through London, and I go to their conventions and that stuff. So they really love it, because it's not just another plastic part. It's not another metal bracket that they're seeing. They're just seeing people doing these weird, wonderful, crazy things in SolidWorks that they don't expect, and that's what they like. They like to see that. I hope that answers your question. Also, I used to work for my mini factory, so that's kind of where they gave me the tools that I needed, because I didn't have a 3D printer at that point. So I had access to 30 different 3D printers that I can print whatever I wanted. And they basically just wanted, we want stuff that drives traffic to the to their website. So that's where I thought, what props and that stuff will work out well for video games. They didn't want to actually do it. They thought it was a bad idea because they didn't want to promote 3D printing and guns. So I did it anyway, and it became some of the most popular stuff on their site. Get up here. I got good. It's not me. It's the music. I'm telling you. Like, I never have this music on. But thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. I mean, Like, I love building. Like, I've got a wall full of Lego. I love building Lego. I love building things. I think that's one thing I enjoy the most is building. And it's kind of fun to just hang out and do it with other people, and then you can see how much I fail at it. Like, it looks all awesome at the end, but a lot of failure goes into it. A lot of drop things. I've lost so many Lego bits building stuff. Oh, you're also from South Africa. Whereabouts in South Africa are you from, my dude? How long have you been in the States for? Oh, there, from Cape Town more specifically. I've only been to Cape Town once. I would think I was 13 or 14. Mostly stayed in the city. Didn't tour too much away. I think we went to Cape Point, Table Mountain, did that kind of stuff. Definitely subscribing. If you do, the thing will make a bling and like shine, and that if you show who you subscribe to. So yeah, definitely give a subscribe. America's awesome though. I really love that place. I'd love to be able to live there, but it's a bit tricky now that I've got a career here. My wife has a career here in the UK. So I was a bit confused because the arrows there are pointing to like the wrong location, where the screw hole is there, but it's pointing to there. So I thought it was being weird, but no, it's just me. It looks like they give you spares of everything, unless, yeah, looks like there's a lot of spares of things. Also, it'll only bling if Streamlabs is doing its thing. Yeah, I probably would have finished this long ago if I weren't yapping and chatting to you fellas, but it's good hanging out. Oh yeah, this thing is definitely bad. Like, it doesn't even... Wait, you've been there for 14 years, or from when you were 14 years old? In the States. Whereabouts in the States are you? Like, I've been to a few places in the States, and I want to travel around there more. Yeah, see, that doesn't even fit in to that. Luckily, your boy's got spanners. Ah, been here for 14 years. Yeah, I've been living in the UK now for 7 years. I finished off university in South Africa. Because my mom has she was born in the UK, so I got a British passport through that. And I just decided to come here and see what I can do with myself, and that's what I got into. It doesn't seem to fit, drops it, of course. Yeah, that's where I got introduced to the access to 3D printing. I had access to a 3D printer at university, but it was very, very bad. First Colorado, then Northern California is awesome. Now in South Florida. Haven't been to South Florida. I know someone in Colorado. He manages a university out that end. Very kind of middle of nowhere type of vibes. Northern Cali, that's more what, San Francisco and that stuff. But I went to Los Angeles and that was awesome. There are 3 industrial design programs in South Africa in all the universities, turning over about, I think it's about 40 or 50 maximum students a year. That's it. Where here in the UK, you know, it's thousands of industrial design students graduating every year. The university I went to was the third university to start, and I was the year ahead of me. They were the first ever year, so I was the second year. So it was very kind of being built at the same time. So they were kind of trying to find their feet. Okay, so that motor is there now. Now I can do the belt. Yeah, they got Joburg University, Cape Town University, and then University in Pretoria. Not Pretoria University. There's another one called Tshwane University of Technology. That's the one I went to. In San Francisco. San Francisco looks awesome. Like, it's more the geography of the city, how you've got like such a there's so many like of those the hills all over the place. And it's not a very flat city. And then you've got the redwood forest that's quite close to it and that as well. So you've got all this nature and just mountains and hills and just gorgeous. One of the most interesting things I learned studying design is the thought process of design, depending on the country or the place that you live in. So if you have a look at like a lot of the European design competitions, they're being won by people making these like weird and wacky ideas that are for example, the one year there was a couch that was made to look like the panels of an aeroplane, just riveted panels. You know, it's not something you'll sit on, but it looks good. It looks pretty. Very, very impractical products were being made. That's what would win the design competitions and that. Whereas, you know, in South Africa and that stuff, a lot of the design competitions there all revolved about solving problems. So as an industrial designer, you're there to solve a problem. And depending on what kind of problems the communities that you're involved on, what their problems are, would, you know, depend on the kind of things you design. That makes sense. I mean, one of the design competitions I had is creating a little trailer for a bicycle for people that collect recycling trash to sell off. Nowhere else really in the world has people that do that. In South Africa, it's just something that there's a business that people do. Is they have a little cart which they push around neighborhoods and they dig through your rubbish and try and find stuff to recycle. Then they take it to a recycling center and they sell off what they can. That's how they make their money. You don't do that here in the UK. That's not a problem that needs to be solved. Whereas in South Africa, that is. Like, let's figure out a way that we can, one, get these guys to be a bit more safe, two, make them more efficient, and three, give them more capacity. So we design trailers that attach to bicycles. So instead of trying to get rid of the problem, trying to solve the problem. That's the whole idea around industrial design, is trying to figure out a problem, solve a problem. And if you're in a country that doesn't really have many problems like that, what else are you left to design but just weird couches? If that makes sense. Okay, so now I've got to attach the umbilical cord to this. That's first. Now, this is a weird step because it kind of wants me to put the belt on here, but it's not attached to anything. It's just lingering around. I'm going to attach everything else first. Oh no, I see why. These wheels are going to sit on top of the belt and I won't be able to thread it. through if it's already on there. So we just put that in there. Let's get down to business. Okay. $2,300 rent. Are you bananas, mate? That is insane. I'm about to screw this on the wrong side. I mean, London's rent isn't anywhere near that. Well, it depends. Depends on the size of the place you want to rent. But yeah, your average rent for a room somewhere in London is around £600 a month. We rented a 2-bedroom flat, and that cost us, I think, £1,400 a month. We now bought our own place, this place here, so we're paying a mortgage, which is about a third of what we were paying in rent, which works out so much better. We own the property, we can do what I want, like trimming our bush and ripping out the bush without having to ask permission. I can put all these shelves up for my Lego. Hope I haven't screwed this, threaded the screw. Nope, he's safe. He's safe. You got to be quite careful with these screws. I feel like, because these are all aluminium. They feel like aluminium, and it's a very soft metal. And you're trying to screw in these hardened screws. You can very quickly strip your threads. Yeah, the design competition that I entered was purely for university. It was kind of a little way to get us put into a convention, an exhibition, and that, and we can meet professionals in the industry. Design competitions are useful for students. I feel like those are the people that will get the most benefit out of a design competition. Or if you're trying to build your portfolio. So a friend of mine, he enters a lot of design competitions and that's just to help boost his portfolio. That's annoying. I made a boo-boo. Alright, so I can't get the extruder on anymore because these screws are in the way because I put this on first. Looks like we're doing it again. Well, that's the thing is, like in London they always say how expensive it is, but you know, the same job pays a lot more in London than it does in Newcastle because the living wage here is so much higher. So there's that balance. Like I could go and live out in the country, get paid a lot less than I do now, but I don't have to pay as much in mortgage or petrol or anything like that. See, that's the thing. In South Africa, a lot of the industries are all around, not so much manufacturing, but more raw materials. So you've obviously got all the mines out there and all that. So it's a lot of industries that are around that. You got some of the construction industries, but it's all industrial kind of mining stuff. I never really worked much at all. I didn't really work in the industry, in any industries in South Africa. I finished university and came straight to the UK. But like that, you have your furniture design places and you have your kitchenware and all that stuff, but your biggest place in industry is definitely. Sorry, I'm just trying to focus and get this stupid thing correct. On this belt is quite annoying because you gotta thread it in a specific way, and the instructions don't really tell you that. And because it's got this little metal hooky on it, you can see that I can't thread it through the threads, through the extrusion, so I've got to get it on properly. So I've got to get it on the first rail on the top. I've got to get it in on the top here first, so that these two, so that the belt can get under these two wheels. But they need to dangle down the sides so that I can then bring them around and actually hook them into the thing at the bottom. Quite a bit of a faff. We got there in the end. We got there in the end. So why so many companies leaving? Yeah, and the problem with that is it's just going to destroy not just the industry there, but the economy there. It's just going to turn into a big kind of abandoned place. I'm missing stuff. Why am I always missing stuff? I found it right under my eyes. The problem here in UK is that they're doing a lot of like housing developments and first to buy schemes, first time owner schemes and all that stuff, which are helpful. But they will build a development, a high-rise flat building, but 80% of it will go to the people that invest, and those are people that will then privately rent them out, and then that's where they make their money. They'll invest thousands in this building so they can get a couple of flats out of it and rent it out. Although there's been you also get, it's kind of starting to appear more and more, you're getting development companies that are not just developing it and selling off the properties. They're renting off the properties themselves. So you're no longer renting from a private owner, you're renting directly from the developers, and that's how they're starting to make their money. And because it's making it harder and harder to buy property, and those that are buying it are willing to pay. Like if I'm someone who's just able to offer what's available, but here's someone who has tons of money that can offer cash a lot more than what's being asked, who they're going to go for? They're going to go for the person that gives them more money. And that then just breaks the whole system and makes it harder for people to get in, and that's what drives the prices up. Yeah, this umbilical cord is getting annoying. It'd be nice if there were just like plugs that I could just plug it in. Okay, that is attached. Step 5 has a lot of drawings on it. Alright, let's put that on my lap. Oh, damn it, I'm going to need that screw that's on the floor. I have something I can get it with. Is there something? It's all the way on that side, and I can't be asked to move things out the way. Oh, hey pillowcase, welcome. Hope you're having a good time. I'm trying to. So how is the weather in South Florida then? Because I've heard you guys have got some good weather this time of year. You guys get good weather all the year, don't you? It's Florida. Those are nice plastic bits. All the electronics are installed already. It seems like this kit is it's a lot more marketed at, you know, you do the assembly yourself, but it's not a difficult assembly. Like, I don't need to put all the bearings inside there. I don't need to install the electronics in here. Like, all I've had to do is just put these gantries up, put up the axis, and that's it. Humid as hell. I can imagine. Because you got like the wetlands out there as well, the swamps. And you've got ocean. It's just so much water. Oh, looks like I'm going to do some threading. So I've got that, I've got my screw. I need to get another screw. Where are my pack of screws? I need those. Not those. There's a pack of screws missing. Okay, let me get rid of the packs that I'm not using. We'll figure it out when we get there. I know I did see them earlier. I just don't know where I put them. Yeah, no worries. That sounds great. The Everglades, yes, that's what it's called. Hey guys, how you doing? A little late to the party? It's fine. You made it. Better late than never. I just lost a set of screws. So I think I lost a set of screws. I don't know if I've missed. I don't know. I'm going to keep building and see if they turn up, because that's usually what happens. They just... We'll be okay. We'll be okay. Unless I put them into something else that I shouldn't have. Which is very, very highly likely. I missed a step. That's what these are for. Now I've lost those. Alright. I was supposed to bolt this on. Good thing I went back and checked. I always do something. I'm going to lose my mind soon. Like, this is supposed to be an easy build. Well, it is an easy build. I'm just not making it very easy on myself. Those of you who are watching, you should actually check out the EM3D app. It's a cool 3D scanning app that uses the front face of your iPhone camera to scan things. I did a scan of my face and then I printed it at work, which is pretty cool. Exactly. Thing's going to be held together with duct tape and a wish. Oh. It's fine. Yes, little Loki. He's sleeping now, so I can't disturb him. But there's my little face scan. I can kind of see it's all in white, but that I did in my office really quickly, in like 5 minutes, and I was able to export it and start working with it in the softwares at work, so that I can actually print them and print it on one of the printers at work. Can't find those screws anywhere. I guess they're gone now. I mean, duct tape can do magical things. Alright, let's put this together. Don't start dropping these screws straight away. Smooth. Be careful, they're watching. Gotta be on my best behavior. Something doesn't look right. Something definitely does not look right. Oh, it's just me. It's just me. So the diagram here, it's orientating for me like it would with like IKEA furniture or Lego. But it's not showing the umbilical cord. This nonsense. So it was confusing looking at that, looking at this without this in the way. You've never made a benchy. It's disgraceful. I'm joking. No, benchies are really good. They're just very good for like just flat out getting an idea of what's wrong with your machine. It's like the first step is print out a benchy, and you'll be able to see where any problems are lie out. Especially if I have friends who buy 3D printers who never really done any 3D printing, and they ask me what's wrong. I tell them print this, and I'll be able to know exactly what's wrong. Guess I'm screwed. Yes, definitely. Hopefully they turn up. Bang. So I've looked at all the plastic bags that I've received. I never did an inventory, so I can't check if it actually was like missed out. But I'm sure I did see them. Okay, let's just get this cover on this end. Oh, it's the end stop. That's what it is. That's what it does. Two M4x8. That's these ones. Duct tape. I mean, looking at this, I don't think I really need the screw. I think I can get away without it. Dangerous, but I think I can get away with it. That's the wrong screw. How not to build a 3D printer 101. I mean, this is where you learn your mistakes from. Not from your own mistakes, from people like me who just just go at it. Okay. That's the end stop in place. Am I supposed to plug that end stop into anything? Because there's absolutely no chance that I'm getting another cable into there. Let's have a look, see. Oh, there's the port. Port's around. It's quite visible. Crisis averted. I mean, it's not the only crisis, but let's have a look, see. My dog is snoring. Okay, thread. You want me to thread that through? Wow. When in doubt, take it apart. Just always take it apart. I feel like we're making progress now. There's not many parts left, which is good, I think. I hope. I done it right the first time. Hold up. Oops. So in the previous step, it didn't ask me to put in the screw, which I just did. I love puppy snores. My dog snores all the time. Like, he's such a loud snorer, and then my wife's got to compete with me snoring. So we're always on the wrong end of that stick. Stop distracting me. You haven't distracted me. Brad, how you doing? What's up, y'all? How's you having a nice barbecue this weekend, Brad, or is it not barbecue weather for you yet? Okay, so now I put that screw in. Which maybe will give me a spare screw, which I can put in place for the one that I lost. Look at me! I'm a genius. Which makes me wonder if that's a mistake. It is. I never lost a screw. They just didn't supply that screw. So they supplied me an extra one of these. Little doohickeys. Which has a round top. Which I was only supposed to get 4 of, but I actually got 5, I think. Okay, so they did send me 5, but I've got 1 left over, and looking at the instructions, I don't have anywhere else to put it. The screw that's supposed to go in where I'm missing the one is 12 mils shorter, but it's the right diameter. So I think I can wing this one by just shoving it in that hole where it shouldn't go. Doohickey, technical term. Thingamabob. Thingamajig, all technical terms. I got glove. So jacking bits on. Fire up the grill. Can't wait. Cannot wait. I know Brad's told me all about his awesome barbecue smoker thing, and he says he wants to build a big one, which is interesting. See, in South Africa, we just braai things. No, we have none of that barbecue stuff. It's all a braai. I'll pick it up later. That's assembled. I can put this on now. Jealous. Hold up. I actually haven't attached this to the hot end yet. I haven't put this belt on yet properly, so let's do that first. This music sounds quite like Minecrafty. Yes, I play Minecraft. I love Minecraft. See, I think this is also where some of the translation is lost, because in the book this is called a synchronous belt. I mean, it kind of is synchronous because it synchronizes with everything that moves. What's braai? Okay, braai, but it's spelt B-R-A-A-I. It's basically South African term for a barbecue. So an American barbecue, you do more smoking, where an American, the best way to kind of put a direct translation to it, it's basically in a grill. You know, you put coals on and you put your meat on there, you slap it on there, bit of boerewors, bit of steak, and you just lekker, good food. It's a very, very big cultural thing in South Africa. We got a holiday for it. Yeah, see, it's got the Minecraft menu sound. I've been playing a lot of Minecraft lately, so. Although recently I've been playing a lot of Valheim. By a lot of, not that much. I feel like I've done things wrong. I need to disconnect this because it's way too tight. Oh, lefty loosey, righty tighty. Never forget that. Alabama. I haven't been to Alabama. I was planning to drive through Alabama this year, but that changed to staying at home instead. Went to Nashville last year in Tennessee. That was awesome. Come on, get in there, you lot. He just gone and done it. That was fiddly. That was really fiddly. You got to try and get these belts Let's see if the umbilical cord will let me. You got to get these belts into these little hookies. You got to try and stretch them. Now I can put everything back together. Try not to twist this cable too much as you twist it the wrong way. So you're from Canada. Canada seems awesome as well. I've told a friend of mine lived there for 6 months in his gap year. I think in Toronto. To be fair, like most of my Canadian knowledge comes from South Park, so I don't know how much of that can be trusted. I know sometimes you say about funny sometimes, but that's about it. It's expensive. What, Toronto or your maple syrup? But you guys get lots of snow. Alabama has beaches. I'm just showing off how much I know about America. Let's give this a Google. A lot of it's on point. So, yeah, I know a lot about Canada then. Alabama. Ah, there. Yes, Alabama. I was supposed to go to... I wanted to try and get to Huntsville in Alabama. They've got an awesome space center last year when I was in Nashville. But I was planning to go to Nashville again this year and go down to Huntsville in Alabama. I didn't realize Alabama went all the way down to the coast. The more you know. See, everybody's learning today. You guys are learning how not to assemble a 3D printer. That's a very tight belt. I don't like how that was askew, so I just want to loosen up these down here and straighten up the screw. That's why it's built too small. No. No. This one's just... No. Yeah. Loosen it up a bit. Oh, that feels so much more comfortable. Quite interesting, there's only one lead screw, so I wonder how that's going to affect it. Yeah, my friend went to the Space Center for the or some like maker event there, and it was awesome. So I had to decide between Jack Daniels or the Space Center for the free day that I had. I chose Jack Daniels, which was awesome. But I thought, oh, I'll be going to Nashville again next year for the same conference, but that was cancelled due to COVID. So we'll see if we can make a way out there, because we're going to be going to Atlanta next year for the conference, which is not too far. I feel like we're on the home stretch here. Yes. I mean, that actually moves very, very smooth. Very impressed. Jack, yes. I am a huge fan of Jack Daniels. And just the I've always enjoyed drinking it, but then when I went to where they actually produce it and learn about it, and find out that every bottle of Jack Daniels comes from that same place, that one little town in Nashville, in Tennessee, outside of Nashville, Tennessee, Lynchburg, I think is what it's called. Every single bottle comes out of that place, and I thought that was insane. I thought they were just, that's where it started, and I thought the rest of the world, they had licenses to make it. Yes, now it's starting to look like a printer, but will it print like a printer? Will it print like a printer? That's the real question. Don't go askew. No. There it is. Ooh, nearly dropped it. Bet I didn't. Sun's out. It's supposed to be rainy today. It's not. Okay. There's the gantry up. I need to screw this in place. Screws are in there already. Very nice. This thing is quite heavy. I mean, it's solid metal, which is awesome. And that's what impressed me a lot about the Voxelab resin printers, is that all the casing's metal. It does not feel cheap. I mean, it doesn't feel like this side is too heavy. I mean, it's pretty solid. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's sagging at all. I mean, if you look at Prusa's, the Prusa Mini, that's got just one driver on the side, I think. Yeah, it does. So I don't think it's skimping. I think it's just they've gone with a more solid frame and then saved money by not having two motors. Yes, that's what I found very interesting, is that it's a dry county. The only place you can buy any alcohol is at the Jack Daniel's factory, and they don't sell the regular Jack Daniel's there. Not at all. You can only get the liqueurs and the stuff like Gentleman Jack and your Frank Sinatra's and all that stuff, but you can't buy a regular old number 7 Jack Daniel's at the Jack Daniel's factory. And the drive from Nashville to Lynchburg was awesome, because I went there for the conference. We went the very next morning after we landed from the UK. Because of jet lag, when you go to America from the UK, when it gets to like 5 o'clock in the morning, you're awake. You can't go back to sleep. So I rented a Camaro convertible. So at 6 o'clock in the morning, we hopped into the Camaro. Took a drive down towards Lynchburg, stopped off at an IHOP on the way, got ourselves some pancakes, and then drove the rest of the way to Lynchburg. Got there probably about half an hour before they even opened, and we just walked through the town where there was absolutely no one around. It was really, 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 really nice. I mean, it depends if their board allows for that. Speaking of their board, it takes micro SD. It doesn't take a USB. Interesting. Where that machine takes the USB. I prefer a USB. Like, a USB stick is just so universal. Like, having to use a USB, a memory card. But when you have to use a micro memory card, you need an adapter. And they actually don't just supply you with... I lie, they do supply you with an adapter. With an SD card reader. They do, that comes with one. Alright. I mean, we've gone through no wiring yet, so I think that's... Yeah, that's at the end. But I am going to plug in this wire now. Oh, it was the... Wonder what that noise was. It was just that. Rolling away. This should be rolling. There's no real way to properly cable manage this. Gonna be a dangly cable. What that ribbon cable needs is a little like sleeve so that you'll be able to... Getting sketchy now. You see how it's very just all over the place, so it needs a little sleeve so I can sit in there nice and neatly. Cool, that's all plugged in. Yay, me. That's all done. Install the spool holder. The honking piece of metal. So definitely with these are the kind of square, rectangular shaped bolts that sit inside of aluminium extrusions. Definitely kind of half put them on here first. Like so. So you basically just push that into the aluminium extrusion, and then when you tighten it, it just locks itself into place. Because if you try and drop that in there and you're trying to align it, especially when you've got two of them to do, it'll be a lot more difficult to do. This is definitely the easier way to do it. That was much easier. That one will probably go back. Boom. That was easy. Okay. Bottom tube. You need to attach to there, don't you? Thank goodness they give me two of the little circlip claw things to hold it in place. I definitely need to keep that safe somewhere. I'm suspicious of this screw now. Okay, connecting everything. Final stage. I mean, wiring on this is actually pretty cool. Because it was just that screen. And then these two cables. 3 cables that I'm just going to plug in. That's it. There's another 2 cables to plug in on that end, but they all got these little doohickey markers on it, so you can actually see what is what. The only thing I wish this had was better wiring guide, because I had left those out at the end and forgot about them, so they weren't actually plugged in, and luckily I noticed them. The price of the printer, I think, it's somewhere around the $180 to $200 mark. Voxelab 3 is their website, and it's in the description. But they're on Amazon as well, next day delivery, which I think is great. The music is pretty dope, I'm not gonna lie. Another thing that the instructions don't tell you to do: remove the plastic off your bed. Cool, that's safe. Now I can put the little wheel. The wheel actually has writing on it. I don't know if you can see it, but it just tells you which direction does what. That's always the problem, because it's upside down. You need to screw the opposite direction of what it's asking you to screw. Oh, hello, Loki. Span it the wrong way. The bed is actually pretty cool. Once I've got this on and I hear my music stopped, so I'm gonna have to start it again. So it's a glass bed, but it's got a texture on it. Kind of difficult to see, but it's got like a perforated texture on it. As you can see, you can still see my hand through it, but it's got a little texture on it that apparently will help with the grip and that. So I don't think we'll need tape or anything on that, but it's still a glass bed, which terrifies me. I might swap these clips out for little bulldog clips, because then it'll be a bit easier to get in there. Hey, what's up? It'll be much easier to get this on and off quicker, because if I just put bulldog clip, one there, because these things are not very nice to take on and off. They actually look like they're from an Ultimaker. Okay, I think we're done. We're ready to power on. It doesn't fit. It doesn't reach. I need to double check what my voltage is in the UK. .230. So there's a switch at the back here to switch between 230 and 115 volts. So depending on your region, you need to flick that switch. That's like the first piece of document that you actually see, is to remind you to do that. It tells you that in the papers as well. Make sure you do that. If you put too much power, you're gonna fry something. Turn it on. You ready? That was me making the tune. Watch it, Loki. Fans are turning. We have power. Power! I don't think there's anything on the SD card. Oh. Comes with an extra nozzle and a nozzle cleaning needle. That's quite cool. And it doesn't say in the instructions, but in that little baggie it came with 2 little end caps for the over here, so that it's not bare metal, which is kind of nice. Butterfingers. Okay, so I think first things first, let's level this thing. I've got paper somewhere. Setting. Oh, that's disappointing. It's not a touchscreen. Yes, my Prusa has a flexi build plate. Absolute dream, those. I don't like glass. I'm too scared that when I'm trying to hack at it, it's going to break. That is quite terrifying. So you got the print button, the control, and that, but it's big enough to look like it's a touchscreen, but it's not. That's a bit disappointing. It's okay. Okay, setting. Auto home. Let's see if it arms. Yes, it's my toes, Lucky. Come here. What's this? What's this? Come here. Alright, whoops. So I put that clip right by where the nozzle goes down. So let's move the Z-axis. Ten up. Alright, so let's home it again. Oh, come on. It's a very archaic way to level, I'm not gonna lie. Well, I mean, you've got the Voxelab user group on Facebook, and already they got flexible build plates made for the resin printers. You just gotta put down enough submissions, and they will actually manufacture them to those sizes. I don't know what metal this is though, so if that's not magnetic, I don't know if you can put one on unless you get a sticky magnetic surface. Okay, so reading through the instructions, the way you got to level your bed, which is a bit annoying, is one, you go to auto home, which I've done already. I'm just going to lift up this a little bit. I say it's archaic because it's kind of, I haven't had to level a bed this way in like 4 or 5 years. So you got to get a piece of paper under, auto home it, and then use that piece of paper to feel the friction. But you've also then got to hit the disable stepper button, which will then allow you to be able to move this around and this around to different places for you to then level. It's not like automatic. So if it was able to have a home leveling function in here, that'll make it much easier. Because at this moment, like, there's a lot of room for error when doing it this way. I mean, I'm not expecting a pin to probe, but interesting. That's already way too close, which means that needs to be moved up. Let's have a look. Home, set home F. So let's see if I can set these offsets. Oh wait, I think I've got to move it up. Let's move the Z up by point. Let's go with 0.3 mil. Which is moved. So now that's the new home. Not this, that, where I just put it. So let's try this move. Oh, I'm being silly here. I was loosening it instead of tightening it, which basically means I need to tighten it so that it squeezes the bed down. Yeah, because I've never found a reason to pay for expensive premium materials. I mean, a lot of my stuff just gets coated. It's also kind of tricky trying to find the spot because the bed is textured, so it's giving a bit more of a bite. Yeah. I'm really not a fan of having to move a motor that way. Yeah, you can level it in many different areas. But hopefully, like, once I've gotten this first level in place, I think probably what I'll do is make a proper video on how to level with this, because this is going to be a nightmare for, I'm sure, many who are quite inexperienced with these printers. I don't like how loose that one is. See, now the back is probably about 3 mil too low, and that's as loose as I can get it. It is quite wobbly as well. Okay, so let's auto home again. Because that should be about level, but we're about 2 or 3 mils too high. So we're going to big brain this one. So what I'm essentially doing here is I am moving this end stop up ever so fractionally. Oh, a little bit too much. So that it changes the spot. No, it should be down. I don't need to go up, I need to go down. Basically allowing the motor to stop a little bit further down because it's 3 mil too high, and this bed is now kind of sort of level. So that should give me more space to toy with, hopefully. Yes, using like free moving motors like that, having to disable it and then moving it around, it doesn't feel right. Yeah, PCG is scary. I mean, with my Prusa, I put glue down any other glass that I ever printed with. I always put blue tape down. Yeah, well, I don't think it doesn't feel like you can move them. Yeah, it's a little bit too low. $2.3 mil. I mean, it's not like I'm measuring this, but way too much fiddling. God, this is like we were talking earlier. That imagine if you bought a fridge and you had to do this to it before you can start using it. People wouldn't buy fridges. Perfection. I mean, you're also doing a fairly experienced way of leveling. Like, if you don't know what you should be feeling for, you're not going to know if that's the correct amount of tension. think that's alright. And then I think set home offsets, I think is, let's just say that, yes. I think we're level. I think we're a little bit too tight, but I think we're going to be alright. See, Prusa has a good option of, once you've got your level, you print and then you can offset your Z height with a little dial. So as it's printing, you can see it's too close or not enough, and you can fine tune it, which I think is a very good feature. Alright. See if there's anything on this SD card. I'm not a fan of printing anything with SD card, straight off the SD card, but I don't have a slicer yet. I'm not a fan of my micro SDs. They're just so easy. You can lose them so easily. Okay. Let's have a look, see. Aquila test model. Rotation nut, PLA, test hook, toolbox. I think it's a box for all your tools. Interesting. It's not pictures or anything, so I'm not too sure what these models may be. Let's plug this into my computer real quick. Yeah, just reading there a link to a G code first layer. That's basically how Prusa's machines, how you do their leveling. That feels very, very not nice. Not a very nice SD card reader. Let's put that up there. Okay, user manual is on there. Software. Secure a zip file, which is interesting. With the the Aquila Cura profile. I think that is fantastic. Because I have never used their software. I got pictures of them. No. Alright. Okay, so on the SD card, it's just got a couple of cool things to print that will help out with the actual thing. So you can move the spool holder from the top to the side. Let me actually display capture. I'll make myself a little bit smaller so that everyone can see. Oh, that's the wrong one. It's too small. Face, yes. Yeah. So there's like a rotation nut on there that you can print. The toolbox, which is that place where you can put all your tools, which is quite interesting. This so you can have your spool around the back, which is kind of cool. Interesting. So these are the models that they're giving you. And on here I've got the software that they use and the Cura folder. So I'm going to actually just put in Voxel Maker. This is their thingy, their own slicer. Accept all the terms and conditions. Install, yes. See, I've had printers that you level like that, but it will move the motor to that specific point for you to do the little paper test. So, Ultimaker actually. Let us go to thingy verse. Get yourself a benchy. Download all files. Pop-up ads. Damn pop-up ads. Alright. Yeah, it does have, you can move the motor up step by step, in tiny little steps as well. But my problem was that the screws at the bottom were too loose when I still had the head 3 mils away. So I couldn't actually lift the head anymore. So I've actually had to get the head down, which I needed to move the end stop a little bit further down. Files, let's... Where is this Aquila? What is it called? Voxelmaker. Voxel folders, Voxalab. Yep. There we go, Voxelmaker. Yes, download it. Aquila, okay, cool, that's quite easy. What happens to my benchy? Where's the benchy? Oh, there it is, all the way up here already. Files, 3D benchy. See, I like Cura because I'm quite used to Cura already. So repair it. Apparently, I need to repair it. So let's see. Yeah, just being able to fine tune it as it's printing is so very good. It's but only square. Oh. Yeah, there is a way to Z offset and kind of you can change your position of home and you can set it, but obviously each time you say go to home, it'll go to a different home, the original home. Entire bed first layer, that must take forever to do. I've always used Cura. Cura's just been quite. This is something I'm familiar with, but I'm going to try their one out and see what it's about. Apparently, they do tree supports, which I think is quite interesting. Tree-like, which is what their slicer has. That I'm going to play with, but I'm just going to do a normal benchy, as is, no support. Let's have a look. See, where are the settings? Oh, there we go. Layer height 0.2. Yeah, that should be fine for PLA. See, I never really fiddle with any of that. We can get away with 10% infill. Parameters 2, that's alright. the raft. It's actually quite a lot of settings here that we can fiddle around with. Like a lot of settings. And we can create profiles as well. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Okay, let's put this onto a USB drive. I think that's the G code that I'm saving. Yeah, it's the G code. Hour and 52 minutes. Oh yes, music's finished. I say we try it. I mean, I've never used them. Set your overlap parameter to 10%. I don't even see that setting. I haven't played too much with Prusa's paint on supports either. Let me change that one setting that you mentioned in the infill. Oh, vase mode. I'll overwrite it. Yes. Alright, let's make me bigger. I just rode over my toes. Lovely. Let me bring this table a bit closer as well. Actually, I've got a good idea. Let me get my tripod out. See if I can get my camera to reach. This will be it very soon. I want to give you all a good view. There we go, that's a bit better. Alright, now we can print. It helps if I put filament in it, doesn't it? Okay, so I think we just automatic load. I don't think does this have a filament sensor? I don't think it does have a filament sensor. Yeah, I cut the first little bit off. I always cut at a 45-degree angle. I forget that the camera's like right here. I cut at a 45-degree angle so that I just find that's the best way to make sure that you don't get any clogs. See there? That's the little offcut. And just there's more chance of it just going straight into the hole. It's just it's no good way to say it, but. So I'm just waiting for it to heat up now. At least the music's back. 235 is a bit high, isn't it? Yeah, what are you doing? I'm not a fan of Bowden. Personally, I'm not a fan of Bowden extruders, but I guess this is what allows them to have a single thread, because there's no massive motor on here weighing it down. It looks like they did test the nozzle because there's some red on the other end, but I prefer blue. Also, Flash Forge filament that I'm using, PLA. I've never used Flash Forge filament, so this will be interesting. But this is a, I wouldn't say it's a Flash Forge machine, but it's manufactured by Flash Forge, I think. That's what it says in the box. So they sent me some filament as well to print with. Was not expected, but pretty cool. So all I've got to do now is just wait for it to come out the other end. Let's hope it does. Yeah, I think 200. I think it's just heating for 235, just as a general temperature to load. I don't know what temp the PLA was. I can't remember what my setting was there. Still feeding, just waiting for it to come out the other end. Come on, you can do it. The only tool that I see they have not supplied is a pair of tweezers. We have filament coming out. Ta-da! Okay. That is loading done. See, they call it automatic load and unload. Which isn't the correct term for it. Because it's not automatic. I don't think. Kind of can be because you're not manually. That's weird. Alright, we're printing. And give me 5 minutes to clean up it while it gets itself ready. Yeah, my printing's at 200 degrees. 60 degrees for the bed, so that'll be nice to... Let's hope nothing catches fire. Weird. It says printing time is 1%. Time there says 100%. But it's still heating up, so I don't know if that's just like the heating up phase is being timed. Something's happening. Ooh, it's exciting. Yeah, it depends what PLA you use. I always just, this is at 200 degrees. I usually go 210 or so. I've started to find that like standard settings are always best lately. Like you don't have to fiddle too much with it. Looks like it's working. I can't bring the camera any closer because we're on a short leash. I think my bed is a little bit too close. Filament is coming out. I mean, my friend, he got the same week as me. He bought his. He was saying that like your first couple of prints, you're just going to scratch up the texture on you. As you can see, I've already have from just trying to level it. It looks like something's happened. It's still doing the first layer, so we'll let it do its thing. Oh yeah, that's definitely too close to the bed. Oh well. You live and learn. Yeah, it's just fan noise that you're getting now. It's kind of odd that you have fans on your first layer. Most printers will avoid that. What kind of settings do we have? So I can change my print speed, I can change my nozzle temperatures, my bed temperature I can change, fan speed I can change, and my Z... I can change my Z offset while printing. And it's in 0.0 of a millimeter, 0.00 of a millimeter that I can change it. Okay, it's got that feature, that is great. As I'm saying, you shouldn't have a fan on your first layer, but I mean, I haven't looked at the settings, then maybe there's a setting to have the fan not on the first layer. But this, it sounds like that, because all the electronics are housed in this case that's below this extrusion here, and it sounds like that's got a PC fan on it to keep that cool. So I think that's most of the fans that you're hearing. This one is running. It's going. It is actually printing. Whether I get it off the bed or not, that's the question. It looks like I'm picking there a little bit. Sorry if I'm getting too loud. If my mic's a bit too loud, please let me know. I can turn it down. Sounds right. It works. Yes, it works. Yeah, I'll go for that. All new printers have baby steppings. Yeah, it seems to be like the standard that people go for now. Yeah, all the other printers I've had, I've always had the nozzle, the fan off in the first few layers, just so that I can run at full temp. Because it's mostly because it just bounces straight off the bed and onto the nozzle and cools it down. So maybe because it's got the little shoe, doesn't need one. We have infill as well. This is looking good. See, I'm kind of like stuck between a rock and a hard place where the power cable is getting a bit too tight and the camera cable is getting a bit too tight. So I'm kind of at this point where I can't get it any closer physically. So they are like little metal shavings all around. I didn't tighten this belt properly. I'll see if that gives me any wobble. There are like little metal shavings around here on the frame from when I'm screwing it in. So I think we'll just need to give that a little bit of a blast. Check everything. I didn't actually check if all these screws were tight. Whoops. I'll let this go for another like 10 minutes and then, because I don't think you want to sit here for another 2 hours watching a print. I mean, people love that kind of stuff, but I mean, if you got your own printer, you can do that. But yeah, I'm just printing a little benchy just to get a good point. I think you can start to see some shapes. Yeah, you can see some blue. Let me look at this. Look at this. It's like a professional production. That's a good shot. Oh, good shot. Good shot, mate. Good shot. What was that? That was like a mixture of everything, wasn't it? I only noticed now that you said about the camera placement. But yeah, you can start to see some blue. It looks good. It looks really good. I am very pleased. I don't know if it is focusing. I have a good idea. There we go, that should be better. I can try to lower the camera a bit more. Thank you very much for joining, Corey. It's been good fun. Hope you learned something, like not how to build a printer. There we go. There we go. There's the money shot. Let's get this tripod stable. So I'm getting a bit picky on my angles here. There we go. There he is. Now if I just stand here with a light for the rest of the time, it'll look good. I'm quite impressed with that so far. Like, let me get something to drink. Alright, and then I can wrap up my thoughts of what I thought about this build, this machine, and how everything is. And you know it's going to be some Jack Daniels because I done good. I done real good. Alright, I'm back. So, I think this is a good machine. Oh, sorry, booting your camera all over the place. I think it's a good machine. I don't think it's I wouldn't call it a beginner's machine. This is definitely a machine that you have to be willing to troubleshoot. You're willing to work on it before you get your perfect printout. As you saw in the stream, I had to do a bit of fiddling myself. I had to fiddle around with some of the settings to make sure that I could get the bed level, and that was undoing some screws and some bits that were already put together by them. Which is, it's not always a nice thing to do, but alas, this is 3D printing. This is something that you have to do sometimes. Unfortunately. So it's definitely not a beginner's machine. This is a machine that you have to have some sort of idea. I mean, it's a good first printer if you've done a lot of research, but it's definitely not a printer that you would buy. You'd buy not having any idea how to do it. The overall assembly was fairly easy, mostly because the entire bottom carriage here was assembled already. All I had to do was assemble the Z-axis here and the gantry. I don't have to assemble the nozzle or anything. All the wiring was 90% done. I actually found that missing screw, to be fair. It was one of the screws that puts this all together. It's the exact same diameter and the exact same length, it's just a different head. And I had an extra one of these, so either I missed that screw out or I used the spare one. But yes, definitely do an inventory check when you get your machine. It does have a very good... It does have a very good... it's not a good way to show this. It does have a very good parts list on their in the booklet, and 80% of the parts are labeled. It's just some of the bigger parts that aren't labeled, but mostly everything's labeled. So do a stock check. Don't make a mess like I did. Don't just throw everything around. You're gonna have a bad time. But I mean, it's a machine that it's easy to build. I mean, I guess I can call it an introductory type of printer. I mean, the Prusa builds are quite hard in the first place, but what Prusa has is a lot of support on their website, from their communities, from the after sales, and from the actual manual. There's comments on it. Definitely, if you're building a Prusa, do it with the online instructions, because that has all the comments and information on there. And I think Voxelab, if they create on their website a place where you can build it, you can follow the manual on there, but also a place where users can leave comments about certain areas, such as like with that screw, like, oh, I'm missing this screw, but if you use the extra screw from this, or you know, the tip that I had for the top for the spool holder, things like that help out a lot. And it does mean that they can then take that information and update their instructions eventually. This printer definitely feels like it's a high quality printer. Like, this entire thing here is injection molded. It's not 3D printed. Well, with an injection molded part, you're going to get a much higher quality of part. It's going to look like it's made properly, even though that injection molding plastic is actually really cheap. It just gives it a more of a well-made kind of feel to it. And all the casings and all these bits here are all metal, so just like their resin printers, which you can see is beep there. That's all metal, and it feels sturdy. So it's really got a good build feel to it. It feels well made. It feels higher. It feels like it's more value than what it actually is. I'm going to switch out these little clips here with bulldog clips, so it's much easier just to clamp off, because I'm afraid of cutting my finger on that sharp edge. Just some bulldog clips, very old school kind of way of doing it. I think it's a good printer. I'm quite impressed with it. Well, no problem with the app shot. I'm glad you came through, because I was planning to talk about it at some point in this stream. You guys have got a cool app. It's free to use, to scan. The only point you need to pay is if you want to download your parts. You pay once and you can then download everything. It's quite fun and easy to use. It was a fun morning. Glad it was a fun morning. Well, thank you very much for coming through. I really do appreciate hanging out, watching me fail at build. I mean, I was planning on ending this in the next 5 minutes because this still has an hour and 15 minutes on it. But I think this is a good printer. For what you're getting, it's extremely good value for money. There are some little things that you could run into potential problems, but there are Facebook communities out there that exist, such as like the official Voxelab user group. On there, if you have any problems, there's people there that are going to absolutely help you out, straight up. They've also got an after sales service form that you can fill in and get some help. There's email addresses and information on there. It's a fairly new machine, but so is Prusa's machines. They were new. At some point, they had no communities. They had to start somewhere, and they're thriving. I mean, all you need to do is just make a good quality product, and this one is pretty good. I mean, I'm gonna use this for a couple of weeks, and then I'm gonna put together a full review video about it and my thoughts and some how it's been going, kind of thing. Because first impressions matter, but it's also how long will it last. So maybe incredible now, but maybe I'll run into problems. Maybe it works like a dream. It'll be good to see how much I can get out of this. I'm gonna try and print a whole spool of filament of stuff. It should be good. But I'm really glad everybody came and hung out. Had a good time today. Made some new friends, which is cool. Whoops. I think this is actually a very nice place to leave it. I'll let it run for another 5 minutes afterwards, after I say goodbye, but it's been good. Thank you very much for joining. If you're interested in this machine, it is the Voxelab Aquila. The website's in the description, as well as on the screen. It's voxelab3db.com. Check them out. You can buy a lot of their machines on Amazon as next day, which I think is amazing. Especially if these are coming from China, but they are stocked out really good. They also do resin printers like that one over there. Time for Jack. Yes, my Jack Daniels is in a ice cold glass, already going. I mean, it is almost 5 o'clock here, so it's already 5 o'clock. Bloody hell, I got some Minecraft to play. But yes, thank you very much for joining me. I mean, if you guys enjoyed this, I enjoyed it. I'll be more than happy to do more of these kind of things if I get more machines, or even if I'm building some Lego, live stream it, because then you'll see even more things drop and go missing. It's been a fun stream. But if you are interested in this machine, and you want to find out more about it, please do subscribe. I'm going to be making a video about it. Follow me on my socials. All the links are down below. It's at KJ Designs 365, pretty much everywhere. Where later today I will be posting the results of this print here, that one there. So if you want to see how this benchy actually came out in the end, please do follow me up and you'll see it there. I'm going to post it in the Voxelab Facebook groups as well. But yeah, please subscribe. If you're watching this after the fact, please give it a like as well. Thank you very much for watching. See you guys in the next one. I'll let this run for another 5 minutes. Enjoy the music. Enjoy the tunes. Bye.